Hello everyone. So we're going to speak about layouts in this video. So we can start to design levels in Android Studio. But we should learn layouts in order to design Android applications. So just what exactly is a layout? A layout is an interface that we use to place Android components on the Android application. So we're going to use layouts to establish components in a particular order. These components are buttons and text views, radio buttons, and anything you can pretty much think of. There are varieties of layouts, and these are linear layout, relative layout, table layout, and constraint layout. So these are the main types of layouts, and we'll speak about the first three layouts in this video. I'm going to reserve the constraint layout to another video, but most of the projects we're going to use the linear layout and the relative layout. But if you have a table design in your project, you can use the table layout. Now, because I want to stay on topic, we're going to speak about Android Studio. So let's go to Android Studio, and you'll see what I mean. Okay, so you may recall that we have a project, and its name is My First Application. So when we open a new project in Android Studio, it creates a main activity XML file. So we will design right here on this page. And this page's default layout is constraint layout. Now, we will not use the constraint layout. We will start by using the linear layout. Now, if you look at the component section, you will see the layout types under the layout section. So first, I'm going to delete the constraint layout. I know, just delete it. And instead of the constraint layout, I will write linear layout. And I will do this using XML code. So I'll open the text side, delete the constraint layout. After that, I will write in linear layout. Okay, so now our layout is linear layout. But also, we're going to need to specify its orientation. Now, there are two types of linear layouts. One is horizontal. The other is vertical. You can specify it by writing this code. Now, I'll first choose the vertical orientation. So in this layout, components are placed from up to down. If you choose horizontal orientation, the components will be placed from left to right, just so you know. So for example, I'm going to put text view here. And you can see it started from up here. And then after that, I'm going to add a button. And you see it's placed under the text view here. And if I add another button, guess what? It'll be placed under that first button. So now I'm going to change the orientation of my linear layout. Make it horizontal. And now if you look at the design page, you'll see everything is placed from left to right. So I'm going to change the layout width. I'll change it to wrap content. And then you can see that the buttons and text views are sorted from left to right. Now if I add one more button, it will take its place after the second button. You know what, I should mention to you about the layout width and the layout height here. They are match parent and wrap content in here. So when you choose match parent, the layout will cover the entire screen. But if you choose wrap content, the layout will be big enough to enclose its content. Right? Makes sense? Also, you can give a numerical value in here. So by that, I mean you don't have to choose just match parent or wrap content. For example, let's give a layout width of 400 dp and layout height of 500 dp. Now also you can add more than one layout. So now I'm going to choose layout width and height match parent. And I'm going to add another layout, but this time its orientation will be horizontal. Now I added this under the vertical linear layout, and I will add 2 text views under this horizontal layout. And I will choose layout width, wrap content for horizontal layout. And now you can see these 2 text views are side by side. So in the same way, I will choose layout height, wrap content for horizontal layout. And now you can see the button too. So now these 2 text views depend on the horizontal layout, and buttons depend on the vertical layout. So actually, buttons and horizontal layout are elements of vertical layout. Also, horizontal layout has 2 more elements that are text views. So now let me just add one more button here, and it will take its place under the other button. Now also I can add one more layout. Now this layout is also going to be a horizontal layout. So this layout is an element of the vertical layout. I will connect these 2 buttons to this new layout, and I will do this with, over here on the XML code sign, and I will cut these 2 buttons XML codes and paste inside the layout. But also I should choose layout with wrap content for this layout. Great, so now we have one main layout and its orientation is vertical. And also we have 2 child layouts and their orientation is horizontal. And then every horizontal layout has 2 child layers, and these are buttons and text views. Now after the linear layout, we can continue with the relative layout. And I'm just going to delete these components. And I will change linear layout to relative layout. So, how does the relative layout work? Probably the best way is to show you. So components are placed right in each other's position within the relative layout. I'm just going to add 2 buttons to show you how relative layout works. You can see that these 2 buttons took place on top of each other because we haven't given them any position. So now I'm going to change the first button text to be a capital letter A, and its ID will be a lowercase a. And for the second button, I will change its text to be capital letter B, and its ID will be lowercase b. So now let's go to the XML side, and I will first find the button and add a new line of XML code. And this code is layout center horizontal true. Now button A takes a place center of this row. And I'm going to add another line of code. So this time, center vertical is true. Now button A took place center of the screen. And now I will give a place to button B according to button A, or relative to button A. Yeah, see where we're going? And I'm just going to add a new line of code in the XML code of button B. And this code is layout below IDA. Now button B will take its place under button A. Now if I want button B to be in alignment with button A, I should just add a new line of code. Layout center horizontal true. And now button B is under button A. Now, if I want to put button B above button A, I should just write the layout above IDA. And now button B is above button A. So you see in the relative layout of the components, they all take their places according to each other's position. Okay, so now we can have a look at the table layout. In the table layout, components take their places by means of a table position. So in the table layout, there are rows and columns. Now I'm just going to delete the relative layout and write table layout. Also, we need to add some rows in this table layout. So I'll add 3 rows. And then after that, I can add 3 buttons for each row. So now we have 9 buttons on the table layout in a table position. So, where can I use a table layout? Let's say, for example, I want to design a calculator. We can use the table layout. So I'm going to change these button text to 1, 2, 3, and you see where we're going. And of course, you can use more than one layout in your design. So I think that wraps this video. We'll continue in the next one. See you then.